Okay, I thought we'd get on here and look at a few earthquakes to see what's going on the last 24 hours. Now, we've had a lot of activity that Canada is showing up in here at the beginning of the Cascadia subduction zone. And we got some activity down this way. We had a 2.5 White City, New Mexico, 2.6 around south of New Mexico, that's in Texas. And Stanton, Texas, had a 2.6. But anyway, we're looking at this up here of what's going on up this way. And you can see this fault right here we talked about before when I was doing the news. Coming right across, right down through here, it comes right down into Yellowstone. So we've been getting activity up here, what I've been seeing the last couple of times I've been looking. And Yellowstone down this way, got that activity coming down through Hebgen Lakes into Yellowstone. And over here, we got this coming in off of Juan de Fuca, the Strait of the Juan de Fuca, coming in this way. Now, this shows us early signs and early warnings. Now, when we had the activity up here in Canada, let me back this up. Up here in Canada, that they're showing, it didn't all go down this way. The activity, the pressure off of it after it released, come over this way toward Mount St. Helens, Mount Rainier. Here's Mount St. Helens. We had a 0.1, but we had a few other quakes here too that I didn't get to show. It's already disappeared within the last 24 hours. Here's 0.3 and 2 outside of the volcano. Up in Alaska, I've seen volcanoes erupt, and the earthquake that we got before the eruption was outside of the volcano. If you've ever noticed that, they'll happen that way. Anyway, the activity's coming in through the smaller activity off of the activity we had up here on the Cascadia down this way. So if the Cascadia slipped up here first, if this end dropped first, where would all the pressure go? Go right down through here, right across the Strait of Juan de Fuca, straight right down through into Mount St. Helens, Mount Rainier, through Seattle, Washington, and right down through here, down the Ring of Fire. Now, we're just looking at the signs of the earth of what it's showing, and let's go look at Canada and see what it's showing, and then I can explain a little more about that. All right, here's Canada. Now here's the earthquakes we were having. Let's zoom in here a little bit more. Now these are a few days ago. We had this one over here 7 days ago, 3.7, Yellowstone. And this is a swarm up here 4 days ago, 3.0s, 3.1 6 days ago, 3.1 6 days ago. But now this activity, when it was building up, having the earthquakes, that's a 3.3 and 3.5. Then there's nothing down through here. Then we go over here and look at the earthquakes again. And you can see right here where they came in down this way. So this is a weak spot at the beginning of the Cascadia. If we have a big slip at the beginning of the Cascadia, if this end drops first before it drops down here, then it will come on land and go right through the Strait, Juan de Fuca Strait, and right down through the volcanoes. The earth is showing you the signs of that. Now down here we getting activity, and it's a 2.1 around Brook Trails, northeast of Brook Trails. Not much activity goes on right in this spot, I don't think, which I've not been on here in a while either. There may have been a lot of new activity starting here, and I just gotta watch it and see what goes on with that. Utah, a few of those. When I could see the magma, I showed everybody a few years back how Yellowstone, when it builds up and it comes up, the magma pushes up. It's got a little trail that leads right down in through here towards Salt Lake City. This down here is like a reservoir. When it gets so big up here, like it's going to erupt or something, it's like it overflows under the ground down into another compartment. It's like a reservoir. I showed that a few years back, you know, on the magma thing. Was looking at the magma. On this down here, we still got a lot of activity going down Juan de Fuca. And this, instead of the Raleigh seismic zone, this one is south of Raleigh, 1.5. These are small quakes, but these here, the way they come down through here, it still shows me, and any common sense, you know, could see that there's something blocking the main fault coming all the way down through here, because it's not going down the Raleigh seismic zone like it should be. It's coming right down to the San Jacinto fault zone. Rerouted. You know, it's been a few years back when it rerouted, but it rerouted. We used to have it, if you can remember, we used to have the quakes all through here. Then it stopped. This is your main fault. And goes right down into the Raleigh and on down. Alright, that's a bad spot too, because anything could go on right here. At this part up here, the Cascadia subduction zone, we got to watch it. And like I said, the way that went, it came in this way. Some of this down through here comes across the Mendocino fault, so we can't prove that it come down to Juan de Fuca, or it came down the Cascadia, you know, the other end of the Juan de Fuca, because this is one big plate. Alright, I'll see you on the next updates, and everybody stay safe. And we'll be watching this, and yeah, Hawaii, let me tell you about this one. 2.3, it's on the south side of the island. And that's all I see over there, even on small quakes. And not much going on over here, 5.6 around Fiji. And just like we got this one here, it's a 5.6. We got a 6.1 up here. I posted it on the community comments over in here. And now we're looking for another one, 6.0 or greater. But I'm not sure about this here, not unless we was looking down into the magma chambers and we could see more on, you know, the hot spots popping up. That shows us a lot of what's going on through here, and we need that. But for now, we can just see what's going on by the regular maps, public maps that everybody uses. And you can see right here that a lot of this activity come over here. We did have a couple small ones, and one right in the middle of the plate that shouldn't be in the middle like that, not unless there's going to be volcanic activity going on early morning. But this here, it's a weak spot around Seattle. All right, I'll see you next time.